So Google just dropped Gemini 3.0, and wow, it's jam-packed with new features that go way, way beyond just simple prompts and summaries. We're talking about a tool that can seriously automate your work, build apps from just a sketch, and even become your own personal research assistant. So today, we're going to unlock its full potential, from the hidden gems you can use for free to the absolute power tools built for the pros.
Now, that is a massive claim, right? But honestly, when you start to look at the data, you get why the hype is so real. Gemini 3 isn't just some minor update. It feels more like a fundamental shift in what these AI models can actually do. And this slide really tells the story. I mean, just look at LM Marina. It's a key benchmark for an AI's reasoning ability, and Gemini is sitting at #1, beating every other model out there. It's also setting new records in advanced math and multimodal understanding. Its ability to process images, video, and text all at once. And for all you coders out there, it's outperforming the top rivals. The takeaway here is simple. The raw power is just undeniable. Okay, so here's our game plan for today. We'll start by digging into why this is such a huge leap for AI. Then we'll explore the incredible tools you can use right now for free before we unlock the pro-grade power tools. And to wrap it all up, we're going to put Gemini to the ultimate test against its biggest competitors in some real-world challenges. First up, let's talk about what Gemini can do for you without you ever having to pull out your credit card. And these aren't just little parlor tricks. These are seriously powerful features that can solve some of those really tedious everyday problems. So picture this classic workplace scenario. You've got a new hire, and they have to read this ridiculously dense 43-page security document. How on earth do you make sure they actually absorb that information instead of just, falling asleep at their desk? Well, with a custom gym, you can actually solve this in 3 super simple steps. You just upload the document, give it a creative prompt like, turn this into a story, and Gemini gets to work. And it's not just summarizing, it's completely reinventing the content. And the result is, well, it's brilliant. Instead of a dry policy doc, you get a story about actual characters, which makes the key concepts memorable and way easier to understand. This is a total game changer for training, onboarding, or really any situation where you need people to remember what they read. And that's just scratching the surface. The free version can take a 90-minute YouTube video and spit out a summary with timestamps. It can teach you to code using this cool conversational method that forces you to really think. It can even scan your Gmail and pull out all your urgent invoices. These are serious productivity tools, and they're all available for free. Okay, now let's level up and jump into the pro tier to see how this all builds into something even more powerful. This is where Gemini really goes from a super assistant to a true professional-grade tool for creators, researchers, and developers. It all starts with this one number, 2 million. That's the size of the token context window in Gemini Advanced. Now, that's a pretty technical term, but what it means in practice is, well, it's absolutely massive. It means Gemini can hold the equivalent of 1,500 pages of text in its memory all at once. Think about that. You can feed it an entire legal case, dozens of meeting transcripts, or your company's whole quarterly report and ask it really complex questions without it ever losing track. For anyone who works with large documents, this is a huge deal. The creative tools also get a major upgrade. Over in the experimental AI studio, you can go way beyond that robotic text-to-speech voice we're all used to. You can actually feed it a script and have it generate a natural-sounding back-and-forth conversation between 2 different speakers. It's perfect for creating engaging training materials or FAQs. And the list of pro tools just keeps on going. You can generate detailed research reports that come complete with citations. You can take a static image and animate it into a cool, looping video for your website. You can even build AI agents that connect to over 8,000 other apps through Zapier to completely automate complex workflows, like auditing a client's website from start to finish. All right, so the features and the benchmarks are definitely impressive, but how does all this power actually translate to real-world performance? Let's check out a head-to-head showdown between Gemini 3 Pro, Anthropic's Sonnet 4.5, and GPT 5.1. So for the first challenge, we're throwing them in the deep end. Create a functional 3D chess game from a single prompt. This really tests their coding logic, 3D modeling skills, and just overall execution. Gemini did a really great job here, producing high-quality models with good lighting and proper board labels. But the surprise winner here was actually Sonnet when it came to efficiency. It delivered a very similar result for almost half the cost.
GPT, on the other hand, was the slowest and most expensive, and its models were just a bit weaker. All right, next up is a multimodal test. The models were given an image of a Nintendo Switch and asked to replicate it as an SVG file, complete with an animation of the controllers snapping right into place. And this is where Gemini's multimodal strength really shines. It was the clear winner, no question. It produced the most accurate and cleanest replica with a perfectly working animation. Sonnet came in a respectable second, while the tester noted that GPT's attempts, and I'm quoting here, terribly fell apart. Ouch. For the final test, the models were asked to build a fitness dashboard, a pretty common UI/UX task. And right off the bat, GPT was disqualified on this one because its code just failed to compile. Now, this result was pretty interesting because it revealed a clear trade-off. Gemini created a much cleaner, more aesthetically pleasing user interface. It just looked better. However, Sonnet, despite having a slightly AI-ish design, produced a dashboard where every single button and feature actually worked, which wasn't quite the case for Gemini's version. So what's the final verdict here? Well, Gemini 3 is undeniably a powerhouse. If your work involves visual tasks like replicating images or designing clean user interfaces, its capabilities are truly best in class. While a competitor might beat it on cost for some tasks or raw functionality in others, Gemini has definitely carved out a huge advantage for visually driven creative and development work. The speed at which this technology is moving is just incredible. I mean, we've gone from simple chatbots to full-fledged automation engines in such a short amount of time. So the real question isn't just about what these amazing tools can do, but what are you going to do with them?